essentially, as you can see with 100 frames, just a view of the past, present, and future of anime. And sitting with us is one who would be at the helm of such a ship that is leading that way in FUNimation Entertainment. So Sully, please tell us, what is it like to work for, I would say arguably, but not even now, just outright the best Region 1 company in the business today?
Oh, well, thank you. It really is a labor of love for us. I started applying at FUNimation 3 years before I was actually able to get a job there. I have been a anime fan since dinosaurs roamed the earth, and so I've worked a lot of other jobs and things, and so I just wasn't very happy in what I was doing. So fortunately, being in Dallas and actually seeing a posting for a job at FUNimation, I was really, really excited to be able to be part of the team. It really is kind of like finding my tribe, is the best way I can describe it. It's a lot of like-minded individuals. I mean, there are really not people that aren't anime fans working at FUNimation. So it's one of the reasons why we take so much pride in what we do, and one of the reasons why, I mean, every single release that we do really does get the kid glove treatment from us, because we care so much about the genre, we care so much about fandom, that we really, there's a lot of us in what we release.
Interesting stuff, definitely very valid, as you can tell plainly. She's, out of a bunch, a fan. So I think that answers my second question on fan. Third question.
Oh, actually, I'm curious. How did you get into it?
There you go.
I know what my gateway show was. It's going to date me, but I saw Vampire Hunter D back in 1984 and never got over it. So,
Cool, you saw it unsub.
yeah. Oh no, the original Vampire Hunter D never had a Japanese voice track. Same thing for Bloodlines. Anyway,
You saw a lot of stuff just
yes, okay.
third, fourth generation
Just the old purple tapes. Anybody remember the old purple tapes? Okay. Like, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z with like Japanese tampon commercials and let it be taped off of TV and mailed to me. No subs. I didn't know really what Dragon Ball was about until you guys dubbed it years later. I had watched it raw years ago. Just
So, well, I got into anime, and it's actually completely my mother's fault, and I don't know how much she regrets that now. And it's kind of a funny story. My mom actually grew up in Hawaii, and in the 1950s in Hawaii, one of the only stations that they could get was a Japanese station. And that was really the only station that had any children's programming on it. So my mother, their gardener and her nanny were Japanese. And so my mother speaks Japanese, and so my mother watched Astro Boy and then eventually Speed Racer and a lot of anime, or very, very, very early anime, when she was a kid. So when we were children, my mom wanted to kind of expose this wonderful nostalgia thing that she had going on to me and my siblings, and they really couldn't care less. The first anime that I ever saw was really horribly dubbed Astro Boy bootlegs that my mother bought in Chinatown in San Francisco. And then from there, because we had these at the house, one of my babysitters came over when I was little and saw this stuff and was just like, oh, do you like anime? And the rest of my siblings like, I was the only one it stuck with. And he's like, yeah, well, I'll bring something over next time I come and watch you guys. And that was Ranma 1/2. So, and it's all been downhill since then. So it's, Ranma 1/2, and then shortly after that was when I discovered Princess Knight. I'm so glad it's getting a new release. It's like, when I saw that on ANN, I literally burst into tears in my office. And then, and that was when I started to find other people that were anime fans. I'm from Dallas, Texas, so A-Kon is our big convention there. So the first year that I went to A-Kon was in so I went to A-Kon every year, and that was the thing too for that most of you guys will know too. We used to go to anime conventions to watch anime. I was there for the video rooms because I wanted to see what was coming out because it was so expensive. I had 9 file boxes boxes of VHS tapes I can't bring myself to get rid of because there is a lot of babysitting in those. So I have all of Trigun on Laserdisc. Yeah. I have all of Slayers on Laserdisc. I still have a functioning Laserdisc player.
That's pure good in of itself, probably.
Yes, and I have a brand new one still in the box for when this one craps out. So you know, it was you know, so it was something that I was able to get into at a young age. But then I also at my high school I founded my high school's anime club. Which is still going strong. I'm not going to mention how many years later, but I'm actually still very attached to my high school anime club, and so I help to support them and stuff because it's also in the Texas area.
See, a lot of deep roots indeed. That almost makes me kind of sad to ask the next question. And that's compared to a host of others who spent a history of those who have left the anime business because of the bust. And yet you're passionate enough to see a future in Funimation, to stay. And you didn't come from, you were classically trained to be in entertainment. And you could have gone anywhere, but you actually, were there opportunities that you passed up to go with Funimation?
Not really. I was at a point where I had already decided. I went to school for. I have a classical theatrical background. I went to a conservatory program in England and studied at a place called Rose Burford Conservatory. But I came back and after trying to be a professional within the entertainment industry, in the theatrical industry, I decided that I liked two things: eating and not living with my parents. So I decided to go ahead and pursue some other options. And that was when I got into production, which is what eventually led me to Funimation.
Okay, solid stuff. That actually brings us here over to our top screen and over to, there's you. Okay, let's see, you're lead convention chair for Funimation. So you just get to travel from place to place, and you get a chance to see such lovely people as those in the crowd. Everywhere, just what's the general feeling that you get? Any con stories, anything interesting? Because this is Con Stories Fan Glory.
Well, I also staffed conventions in Texas for a decade prior to me working at Funimation. So I've worked guest relations at 4 different Texas conventions as well. So I mean, it really, and a lot of other folks that work at Funimation have done the same thing. As far as con stories go, most of them are rather embarrassing. I actually have one from this weekend because there was a Homestuck cosplayer in the fountain downstairs, and I just walked over and I introduced myself. I didn't say I worked at Funimation, but I just shook his hand and I was like, "Hey, I'm Sully," and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to say his name." And I said, "Get out of the fountain because it's people like you that get us kicked out of convention centers." So that's. I understand and respect everybody wants to have a good time, but let's do it not like asshats. So, because it makes me sad to know that a lot of anime conventions get bad reputations because of the amount of chicanery that occurs at conventions sometimes. Kids, please don't set your couches on fire. That was IckyCon in 2008. And so I have a lot of stories. But more than anything else, one of the things that I love about the convention environment is, and that I have loved about the convention environment for years, is the fact that it's a safe place for everybody to come out and to be able to hang out, to be able to appreciate something that we all love together. And the other thing that I love about the anime community that is something that's changing a little bit, and I can touch on this a little bit later on, is the sense of inclusiveness that we've always had. Is that, you like anime, I like anime, let's be friends. Oh, you're a gamer? So why don't you come out dressed as Chun-Li? That's cool. Oh, you're into steampunk? Awesome, gears are cool. Come on out. You're a brony, rad, put on some hooves, come down to the anime convention. We're going to accept you no matter what. And that's the thing, is that a lot of anime fans are also cross-genre fans as well. It's so easy to be an anime fan now. It really is. I've been having a lot of "you kids get off my lawn" moments lately because I'm just starting to get older and realize that, like, you know, when I was a kid, we were watching. If you wanted to stream something, it was this big. And it took 2 hours for it to load onto your computer. The trailers that you got on your VHS tape with 2 episodes, if you were lucky, for $35 on it. And one voice track, yeah, you didn't, there was no Japanese with subtitles. No. You got the dub and you were happy to have it. Same thing with like people that are just like, well, that came out in Japan like 6 months ago. Why hasn't it come out here yet? I'm like, 6 months? 6 months? Really? Try waiting 3 years for something to come out over here. It's like I read about it in new type and then I'm not gonna see it until I've had at least 2, you know, I read about something in new type when I'm 16 years old and I can't actually buy it until I'm old enough to vote. So, the industry has changed so much. I mean, right now, we're putting out, between us and some of the other companies that are still in survival within the North American anime community, we're putting out the same number of titles in a month that you used to see in a year. With better quality dubs, more extras, Japanese tracks, original songs, better Foley tracks. I mean, it's just the anime, it really is a "you've come a long way, baby" situation within the anime community. And I really honestly see really positive things for the future of anime. The genre, the fandom, the fans are wonderful. The genre is growing. Anime is really exploding right now, partially, I mean, honestly, we really can credit Cartoon Network with that a lot, because they put us on Adult Swim. They brought back the Toonami block, woot. And so, it's something that people are standing up and paying more attention to. And a lot of that, too, is just, you know, the prevalence, the overabundance of nerd culture. It's okay to like this now. You're not the weird kid. You know, it's somebody else that's just like, there's hundreds of us out there and we all like the same things and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm so excited to see the level of acceptance within the anime community that we're having right now. So, and the level of acceptance within pop culture that anime is having.
Well, saying all that, obviously that's actually disproving a lot of things. It actually shows that your company has come a long way.
Yeah, we celebrate our 20th anniversary next year.
Jesus. 20 years, okay. You've come a long way since the Dragon Ball company. That was always the title. Yet you've grown since then. So broad.
Well, some people don't necessarily know the story of Funimation. It's the fact that Funimation exists is actually kind of a fluke almost. The president and CEO of our company, who is still the president and CEO of our company, Gen Fukunaga, his uncle worked on Dragon Ball in Japan and said, hey, you know what, I think that this is going to be a show that could be really popular in the United States. So Gen sold off a bunch of stocks, got a partner to invest with them, and they distributed Dragon Ball Z. And this was after the Ocean dub had been made and everything. Speaking of the Ocean dub, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but this year, in honor of Funimation's 20th anniversary, we are re-releasing the original Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z. So that's we're kicking it old school for our 20th anniversary. So you guys can expect to see that some of those will start to come out before the end of the year. So again, because of the popularity of Dragon Ball Z, the show exploded. And that was one of the things that enabled us to license a lot of the other properties that we have now. So, I mean, Funimation really is the house the Dragon Ball built.
Yeah. And from that house, in that foundation, you have so many other towers now. Towers that you've worked on, personally, because you were a production assistant. And how long was that? How long were you working?
I was a production assistant for a little over a year. So yeah, I came into the company, Clarion Harp, who for those of you that are Hitalia fans, better know her as the voice of China. She is also our director of DVD and Blu-ray production, and she hired me to be the DVD and Blu-ray production assistant. Went in there basically, and within 6 months of the job, she's just like, wow, you know a lot of things. So that was when she started kind of making sure, giving me introductions to other people within the company, so that, because she's like, you know, you are better served somewhere else in this company. That's one of the great things about Funimation too, is that they really are a company that believes in playing on someone's strengths. So it's one of the reasons why we've been able to stay as solid and as financially solvent as we have been able to, and to weather the mid-2000s bust to the late 90s anime boom.
So, do you have a favorite?
A favorite show? Of course I do. Probably my favorite series would have to be Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm a huge Evangelion. I actually, on a funny note, this summer I am going to LA to have a rather famous tattoo artist do the Girls of Evangelion Sailor Jerry style pinup on my back. So I'm a really big Evangelion fan. But yeah, so Neon Genesis Evangelion was a really important show to me. That came out when I was a teenager, and I was really kind of starting to question a lot of the religious background that I'd been raised within and that kind of thing, and it gave me an outlet to explore that with my friends. And so, I really, really, really love Evangelion. So that's one of my favorites, but then I'm also, of course, I'm a huge Miyazaki fan because I'm a girl, and also because I love anime. And so I like shows with the feels, but then I also like the super bloody stuff too. So I'm a huge Hellsing fan. Huge Hellsing fan. Actually, I was just in this room earlier today with Crispin doing a Q&A with him about Hellsing. And of course, Ranma 1/2. Love Ranma 1/2. I love Princess Knight, Revolutionary Girl Utena. Especially that beautiful release. I can't remember if it was last year or year before. The anniversary release that they did was fantastic. So yeah, I'll watch any of it, honestly. So as long as it's not hentai. So.
Good thing you didn't join us last night.
Oh yeah, there's the tentacles.
Right. Leading into being a voice actress, in addition to all of your credits, you worked on a lot of shows. I think all of us have like a favorite of her list. You reviewed personally, Justin. Sacred Blacksmith.
Also love her.
Yeah. Oh, Birdie the Mighty. Birdie the Mighty is a really, really fun show. We had a great time working on that.
And you worked on Darker Than Black, season 2, and the OVA of that, Ride Back as well.
Yeah, I die in season 2 of Darker Than Black, violently. But
and you're working on the main man's favorite in Fairy Tale.
When we announced Fairy Tale, that was when I was still working as a production assistant, and I had heard a little bit about it, but it was one of those things where since I was like, you know what, I'm hoping that this will come around, but I had heard from a couple of people that the manga was really good, so I kind of had done a little research into it. But then I find out that we license it, and my boss comes over and just puts a stack of manga on my desk and was just like, "You're going to create the dictionary for this." So, because when we have a show with a pre-existing English translation, our first job is to go through the entire pre-existing English translation, get names, places, attack moves, weapons, any creatures, any of that stuff. We go through and we create a spreadsheet of it for the translator, because we want to make sure that we stay true to the original translation. Every once in a while, we'll make a choice to change something just a little bit. But so yeah, I got to fall in love with Fairy Tale by reading like the first 12 volumes back to back to back.
Well, saying all that, now you're continuing your voice acting career. Now, so far you have 2 credits or 3? You have several credits.
I'm in two or three of the Baka and Test OVAs. I am part of the cast of the recently announced Last Exile Family Silverwing. I also have been in Fairy Tale. I have also been in One Piece. I have also been in Full Metal Alchemist Sacred Star of Milos and additional voices. I was in Mass Effect Paragon Lost that we released last year, one of our first co-production animes that we've been able to release, just to try some new stuff. And then let's see, gosh, what else? I am in the Black Butler in Wonderland OVA collection. And then I have 6 shows coming out later this year that I can't talk about yet.
He's still getting work done, which is solid. Of everything now,
And I just had a question actually, and I lost my train of thought in the string of questions. Oh yeah. Now with co-pros, because Funimation made a bold effort to make intellectual property or to, attach it to licensed works, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and there's still dedication to that route. So there's no teetering towards it, and the sales have actually been...
Yeah, especially Mass Effect. We were all really, really proud of Mass Effect. Dragon Age was a wonderful learning experience. Mass Effect is a wonderful movie. And so I was very, very proud to be a part of that. Production IG, I love. I'm a huge Ergo Proxy fan. So I was so excited for us to be able to actually work with an animation house that I was already a big fan of. On top of the fact that we decided that, we really decided to commit ourselves to it. So the two composers that did all of the music for the movie had actually worked on the Mass Effect franchise. We got the original voice of James Vega, played by Freddie Prinze Jr., to come in and voice Vega for us. So it's really been a labor of love for us to also help to kind of reach out to the gaming community as well and let us know what we're all about. A lot of the gaming community is what I like to call a passive anime fan, where if you put it in their face and go, it's shiny, then they'll watch it. And so I like the fact that we had something that was immediately relatable to them from such a wonderful heritage company like Production IG, and the fact that we were able to work so closely with EA and BioWare on that as well. So it really, really was a movie that we were very proud to put out.
So everyone,
Yeah, I've got about 5 more minutes before I have to run and do another panel.
So, anybody, questions for Sully?
How do you feel about the furries at the con?
They're awesome.
I am going to love everyone until they give me a reason not to. That is totally my attitude about it, because there are jerks in every fandom. I don't really have a problem with any of them. We actually, a lot of furry conventions around the country have a very, very vibrant anime track. Because, of course, shows like Spice and Wolf, for example, is very, very popular within the furry community. Sergeant Frog is really popular within the furry community. So they're wonderful costumes. As far as I'm concerned, it is just like full-on commitment cosplay, man. Because God, those things must be hot. I don't have a problem with them. They tend to be very nice. I actually, this past year, attended as an industry guest Furry Fiesta in Dallas. So, I love them all. We've actually got a couple that work at Funimation. So, like I said, I've always had the attitude of live and let live, let everybody have a good time. And like I said, until you're a jerk to me, I'm gonna just assume that you're a nice person.
Any other questions? Yes.
Will there be any more BioWare productions in the future?
That's still kind of up in the air. We're in the process of working on some new co-pros, and there will actually probably in the next couple of months be an announcement about what you guys can expect from us next. So we had a really good time working with EA and BioWare. They were very supportive. I was actually fortunate enough to be able to go up to Canada and see their offices and work with some of their creative team. I would love to continue to work with their marketing team and with their creative team. So, but I don't know exactly what the plans are. I generally tend to not find out about things until the ink is dry on the contract. So, but I'm really excited about our future as far as co-productions are concerned.
Dragon Age and Mass Effect are my life.
Any other questions? Yes.
Have you ever cosplayed?
Yes, I do. I actually have several cosplays planned for this year. I just recently got a custom-made latex Masato jacket that from the original Neon Genesis series, because everybody is just like, well, which version? Because she's got a new coat in 3, which I haven't seen. No spoilers. I'm waiting until it gets dubbed. That's one of them. I also am doing a crossplay Al. And a, let's see, I'm doing a My Little Pony Cutie Mark Crusaders group later this year because I am totally a Pegasister, love My Little Pony. Because friendship is magic. I mean, who doesn't want to watch a show about ponies loving the shit out of each other? That is awesome. I love My Little Pony. And then I am also going to be doing an Adventure Time group as well.
So with that said.
Yes, yeah, so I actually have to get out of here, guys. But thank you so much for letting me come and be a part of your panel, and thank you to all the guest sponsors that allowed me to come by. So Harold says thank you too. So y'all have a wonderful rest. Yeah, y'all, I'm from Texas. Have a wonderful rest of your Katsucon. I will be doing a Funimation Town Hall meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Yes, I know it's really early. But if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about sort of the back end of the industry, about the marketing process, the licensing process, and kind of the future of Funimation, please make sure that you check that out. That's going to be in Live 1 tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So, but thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful time at Katsucon. It's one of my favorite shows to attend, so I'm really, really glad to be able to come back here.